Hello, profitable personal trainers. David here. I hope you're all well on this very toasty Thursday afternoon. It's like 30 degrees, and personally, I'm not made out for the heat. So I hope you're enjoying it as much as I'm trying to. My name's David. I'm from Velocity. We coach personal trainers on how to grow a successful business. And today's free training, what we want to help you do is help you out with your client Facebook group. So this idea, by the way, this is a workbook that we're going to work through today. It's got kind of the slides where you can make some notes, as well as some planners and some checklists that will really help you in setting your own up. So if you want it, comment the word workbook below, and we will happily send it right across to you. So as I said, my name's David. Me and Craig running this group. We run a company called Velocity, which is all about helping personal trainers grow a successful business. And I think this part today is what we have this 4-step structure to kind of build a successful business. We want to attract clients, we want to convert them, we want to serve our clients, and then systemize. So we're organized. And this is really very much in the serve component of our kind of method. And there are lots of benefits to a client Facebook group. And what I'm going to do over the next 20 minutes or so is share with you some of the kind of top tips, some of the key values that we need to understand, key lessons, and some of the tactical stuff that are going to help you either set one up for yourself, and then build it and kind of build one until it's thriving. So here, we want to turn a client base, I've got this group of clients that pay me money, but I want to turn that into a community where I'm adding value to their experience as part of my program, save you time, get to that later, but then also improve connection. We actually want to get closer to our clients so that we kind of basically have better retention. But closer to them means more connected, more engaged, better understanding about what it is they want to achieve, and therefore we can help them get better results. And the client Facebook group is a bit like glue, like connective tissue. It kind of binds you and the client together, your clients with other clients, which helps massively with retention. It's kind of a good move. So we're gonna dive into some stuff. Don't forget, comment the word workbook below. Mikey, long time, good to see you here, pal. Comment the word workbook below. We'll send it right across, and it'll go really beautifully with this training. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump into. I've got some slides for you to kind of help communicate this idea. Without further ado, let's get going. So let's look at the problems. I think this is probably for you if you feel like you don't really have a community. You might have a handful of clients, you could even be quite busy, but you don't really feel like there's a community. There's a difference, right? Yes, I might have lots of clients that I'm working with individually, but they're all separate. No one really knows each other. There might be a couple of odd little satellite groups, but I want to bring them together. I want to create a really strong community, and you might not have that. The other big thing here, you might find yourself repeating yourself a lot. So this is such a powerful hack, and it's like a long-term hack. So say, for example, with the clients, classic examples are you teach them how to track, and you go through the rigmarole of kind of setting them up on MyFitnessPal, teaching them about macros and calories and kind of the significance of a calorie deficit and that kind of stuff. And the kind of problem is that you just end up repeating yourself like a parrot. You're saying the same stuff over and over again. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of your time. You could be spending that same time when you're coaching that person on much higher value activities that have a bigger impact on that person's ability to lose weight, to gain strength, whatever the goal might be. So we could use the Facebook group to kind of solve this problem. You also might feel like something's missing, like your service offering. You think, I'm delivering great sessions, I'm kind of supporting my clients a lot, but I feel like there's more that I can give. Just like the car's missing a wheel. The wheel might be the Facebook group for you. You might also have retention issues. Now, whilst you might not be recording this and actually tracking it with a spreadsheet so you can understand, by the way, what we want to do is aim for less than 10%. If you're not quite sure what that means, we've got trainings on retention. You can just comment the word retention or reach out to me or Craig and we'll help you with that. But we don't want to be this bucket with loads of holes in it where water's escaping at a rate, certainly at the same rate that is going into the bucket, or dare I say it, at a faster rate. But you might sense that there's retention issues. You're kind of thinking, shit, I've had several messages from clients, emails, and maybe I'm not growing. My income, my bank account balance is not increasing, and that's a problem. And it, largely a lot of the time, it leads to retention issues. And the Facebook group is actually an amazing opportunity in that. Let's take a look. So we want to create strong connections. We want to create strong connections between you and the client, but also your clients and other clients. That helps retention because people don't want to leave the group. It's a very it's their survival instinct where we want to be part of a tribe. And we want to fit in and be accepted as part of that tribe so that we survive. That's a survival instinct. So if we can actually create that within our business, obviously it's going to impact retention really positively. Build a resource library. So this again is back to the time thing. So if we can actually take these little problems that we solve for clients, like the example I gave you was in tracking, or it could be any little problem that may be solved. I was talking the other day to a trainer about the problem of clients not being able to prepare to shop properly. It was like the skill of shopping, and actually which aisles do I bother going up, like going in with a list and not going in on a whim. Right? No one wants to go shopping hungry. So we want to make sure we have a strategy for that, and you could document it, right? You could write down, here's your step-by-step thing. Here's all the do's, here's all the don'ts. You write it out for one client because that one client has a really big problem and needs it solved. And if you document it, and then we can brand it, like put it in go to Fiverr, or if you've got the skill on Canva or whatever to map it out into a PDF, we can create a great resource, and then we can stack these things up in the Facebook group. So use the file section of a Facebook group if you don't know, really easy to explore. And we just load up documents in there. And now, whenever a client needs something, we just say, hey, yeah, I've done a resource on that. Here it is. And it's like, wow, this Facebook group is amazing. This program is amazing. Now, the internal marketing piece is really powerful. Like when people say marketing, we automatically think about, okay, it's me getting my message out there to the masses, to my gym, my facility, social media apps, to kind of spread the message of what I'm here to do. In terms of like my business, like my personal training service to help change lives for the better, get people fit, strong, lean, healthy, whatever it is. But actually there's an internal marketing piece as well. And actually getting on, like when people are inside the program, how do I get the message that they need to hear? Because just because they signed up, it doesn't mean that they understand everything they've got access to. It doesn't mean that they know how to use everything once they're inside the program. So I think it's really important that we we ask the question, how are we going to communicate to our clients when they're inside the program, where everything is, how to make the most out of it, at what time, what happens if they get problems? Like, this is all marketing. It's all getting the message across. And the ultimate objective of internal marketing is experience, which ultimately leads to retention. Because if they're getting an amazing experience and they're getting access to all the things they need at the right times, then they're going to get the results they want, the results they came for, and that means they'll stick around, or at least they'll have a much higher chance to do so. Like if you deliver a better service, then you'll have happier clients. It's really that simple. So if we reverse engineer a great business has lots of clients in it that stick around for a long time. Clients stick around for a long time because they're getting what they came for. They get what they came for in a really great way, in a great experience, which makes me feel good. That's kind of what we want to experience. So you can begin to see how the client Facebook group is like the glue, like it's a vehicle that you can kind of serve a lot of this stuff in. Okay, so that's laying the foundation. What I'd love to do is go through a few key points, and then I'll take you through the workbook and show you what we want to cover in that respect. So setting up, there's like a setup process with a Facebook group. I think what a big mistake that a lot of trainers make is that they kind of create the group, they give it a name, they spend an hour in Canva on a cover photo, a cover image, and then they're like, cool, I've got a group, I'm set, I'm away. Where in actual fact, that's part of it for sure. We need to do that, but there's other stuff we need to do, which we're going to cover. We're going to help you with that. We then need to show up. This is another key thing that if you're following this training, it's likely that you probably have a presence on Instagram and or Facebook. And what you do, or at least what you know you should do, is turn up most days of the week in order to like post content that's valuable to your audience, that people ultimately will enjoy, and you'll nurture them steadily remotely. With a view ultimately that you can then nurture them into a prospect, right? Now it's a similar concept in your Facebook group. We need to show up every day, like crossing off the days in this background image, and say and have a plan for each one. Like I know what I'm going to do on each day of the week, and it's going to provide value to my client base internally. And again, we've got a formula for that for you. Scooby snacks. Scooby snacks are really cool. This is from a bit of training that we run inside our program called Sell by Chat. We learned it from kind of a coaching program that we've been on, which is basically a methodical, sequential, like step-by-step process to sell personal training in text through WhatsApp, Instagram DMs, private message on Facebook, and it's basically a sequential method to it. And within that training, like part of the chronology of moving people down a sales funnel, basically like from prospect to client, is we've got to reward your prospects for coming back to you, for giving you information. Because when we as humans are not complimented, when we are rewarded for our behavior, we do it. We do more of it. It's like when you're training a dog. Like you give them a Scooby snack. Well done, you did that thing. I want you to do it again. Very Pavlovian behavior. Same thing with clients. So when people post inside your Facebook group, you need to make a very deliberate effort to thank them and to acknowledge their response. So like typically someone's going to ask a question, and then you need to don't just answer the question, thank them for asking the question and then answer it. It sounds so trivial, but it's a big difference, because sometimes you don't know what's happened inside that client's mind prior to them asking the question. They're like, should I ask it? Should I not? Is this a silly question? I'm not sure. Feel a bit nervous. Should I go for it? Post. And it's like, what's happened before that posting is there's maybe been a lot of kind of worrying and concern up in the head. And if we say, thank you for posting that question, that's amazing. I'm so glad you reached out, because so many other people have had, I've had this issue, and people are like, they feel like validated. So what then happens is they then feel really positive about posting. And then you answer the question, you give them a really valuable response, point them to a resource, or just give them record them a video, whatever it is. And they're like, cool, that was a really good experience. And then we as humans, we want to repeat the good experiences we have, which means I'm going to post more. And that is like the hack, it's the trick to getting more clients posting more often, right? So effectively, the game, if you want more of your clients posting inside the Facebook group, the game becomes about finding a reason for them to post and then using the Scooby Snacks rule and providing immense value when you actually respond. Update and educate is quite simple. It's like one of the things that we need to do on a regular basis, of use your Facebook group as a vehicle for communication. Rather than individually communicating some stuff to clients, you make a habit of saying, right, I'm going to make this comment in my Facebook group. I'm gonna kind of share this information, an update on what I'm doing this week, a new rule inside my program, educate on a particular topic that a lot of people are struggling with. That type of stuff, it goes in the group. It doesn't go individually. And if you get into a habit of shifting all questions into the group, you'll save yourself a truckload of time in WhatsApp or Voxer or whatever it is that you do on messaging. And then selling it. People, again, one of the biggest resistances that we have from trainers trying to grow and build a Facebook group is that no one's in it, no one's posting. And the big thing is you're not actually selling it, you're not promoting the value of it. But part of the reason you're not doing that is because you're not putting the work in up front to make it such a valuable resource. So if you follow the stuff that we've got in this that I've talked about so far, you will feel a lot more positive and confident about your group, and then you'll have more confidence in selling it, because we're only good at selling stuff that we truly believe in. So I think that's a big problem that a lot of you are experiencing. So cool. If you've only just jumped in, just comment the word workbook below. We'll fire across this workbook to you. But we've got the slides on this workbook. We're just going to go through a couple of bits to make sure that you guys are super clear. Cool. Here's your setup checklist. So really simple. Make sure you do these 5 things when you're setting up your group. Basically, it's a private group with a description. The description, probably won't cover this in too much detail, but don't overcomplicate it. It's a private group for your coaching program, but you ideally want a purpose to the group. And the purpose of the group is the same as the purpose to your program. And the purpose of the program is largely overcoming a particular problem to provide a particular outcome for a perfect avatar. Right? Kind of a simple thing, different training, different topic, but the description, make sure you got that set up. Now, the best thing here is a welcome video that you can record. All right, really simple. This needs to be enthusiastic. It needs to be excited. It needs to be welcoming people to the group. And ideally, you're encouraging a first action. So when someone first comes into the group, a post is pinned at the top, and then they're going to see that post, or at least they're more likely to click on it. And they say, if you're new here, start here. If you're new, start here. Something like that. And then it's going to be a video saying, hey, welcome to the group. First thing I want you to do is introduce yourself with your name, where you're from, and why did you join. And then they'll post, and then typically what will happen over time, and this might not happen immediately, is you'll have all of your other clients who have been contributing to the group over in the past. They will come and welcome them. Oh, welcome, Mark. Welcome to the program. Jane, so good you're here. You're in good hands. And you'll find that clients will start bigging you up, and they'll do a lot of that heavy lifting for you. Amazing. If you're starting new, get 3 posts out there. We'll follow the kind of content that you need to add. You need to kind of include in the next kind of exercise, but make sure you've got some posts in there before anyone joins. Then you've got a schedule. You've got a schedule of posts, which kind of 4 to 5 posts every week. We'll get to that in a second. Schedule them ahead of time. Don't play catch up day to day. Part of this is kind of let me just jump out of this for a second, because this is more of a global point. When you're running a business, there are several functions, as a personal trainer, there's several functions that you need to manage. You've got sales, you've got marketing, you've got delivery, you've got admin, you've got kind of client support, right? As a short list. Now, if every day you're having to think about scheduling content, creating content, That's kind of you're kind of in a marketing, you're kind of a marketing headspace, but you're playing catch up all the time. You don't have a higher theme, a higher level of thinking ahead of you. What you really want to be able to do is spend, say, an hour a week mapping out your content for the week for Instagram and Facebook and your Facebook group and maybe any other platforms that you might be on. And do that once. Do the thinking once, and then you get into do mode for the rest of the week. That's so much better because it frees up your creative brain for the rest of the days of the week to work on other high value tasks like sales, like client, like service upgrade. If you want to go and deep dive into upgrading your kind of session blueprints or your programs or your nutritional documents. Whereas posting, it's a time pit, right? If you go and think, how long did it take you to actually create and schedule a post? It takes you ages. It can take you ages. Particularly if you're putting a lot of effort into it, fair play to you, but it can distract you from a lot of other stuff that should be happening. And you might end up with a great Instagram or Facebook presence, but the other areas in your business are failing. And you're wondering, why am I not growing? So the key thing about this, Bosch, is schedule ahead of time, right? And I'll show you the kind of content in a second. And then you should have an onboarding process. So what happens, step by step, when someone joins up? And one of the items on your list, your checklist that you manage, should be: did they join the group, and have they made their first post? Are they engaging? And then something that you manually check every time someone joins. And you can do it on a weekly basis with all the people that have signed up in that week. That's cool. But you need a checklist, and this checklist could live anywhere, wherever works for you. But you need one, and we need to make sure that when someone joins up, there's a series of things they have to do, and you've got to take some responsibility to make sure they happen. That process can be automated. So a lot of this can be automated in that when they sign up, we use GoCardless, and GoCardless has a function called a redirect. So when they sign up for the first time, they get redirected to a web page, and on that web page is a series of tasks that they have to do. It's really cool. So simple. So they get transferred, and you're like, hey, listen, when you signed up, you should have got sent to a page. Can you see that? And ideally, you do it in the console with them. So they sign up. You say, can you see that page? Great. Just bookmark that for me. And then that page becomes their homework, and that's what they go away and work on after the console. Does a couple of things. It automates a lot of the admin stuff that you just need done, but you don't have to do anything. You're hands off, and they go away and do the homework, and most of them will do it. But the second thing is it keeps them busy. It keeps them engaged. And what we want to avoid here is buyer's remorse, where a client signs up and they're like, oh, cool, this is amazing, yeah, great. And they're like, cool, well, let's book our first session in a week's time. And then they're twiddling their thumbs for 7 days, and they're thinking, it's an opportunity for their brain to be kind of influenced and distracted, and maybe influenced by a new bill for a boiler or a holiday that's been booked. It's like, actually, maybe I shouldn't sign up to you. I'll sign you up. I'll sign up next month. So anyway, that can help battle buyer's remorse. That's the automation piece. But either way, it's on your onboarding checklist. So let's look at the schedule. Okay. So we've got 5 different, these are 5 different content categories that you create for your Facebook group, right? Now, you'll find that most of this stuff is not repeated on Instagram or Facebook. You maybe show them little hints and little insights into it, but this is stuff that you create specifically for your clients, and it's exclusive. There's an element of exclusivity to content, right? So update. So what can you update your clients on a weekly basis that's happening? It could be, if you're teaching classes, letting them know about classes. It could be new resources that you've uploaded to the group. It could be about new programs that you might have written for people. It could be about holidays that you're taking. Just updates generally that are affecting their experience with you. Shoutouts are amazing. Basically here you can kind of do 2 things. You can, this is basically about social proof, but it's interesting. Social proof within your client base is basically a retention tool, because micro social proof is what happened today or what happened last week within your client base. And you can say, oh yeah, Jane got to the gym for the first time in 3 weeks after a holiday, and she killed her first session back. Jane has lost a pound this week. She's doing really well. And even if it's the first pound she's lost, it's micro, it's small, it's short term. So when you're posting micro shout outs, micro proof, think days or weeks. And when you're posting macro, this is when people hit big milestones. So think months or years, right? And sharing that within your group will get people rolled up together, and they'll be like, oh, well done, Jane, you did amazing. That was incredible. Good work. And again, it's part of that tribe thing. So if we can encourage the strength of the tribe, and people are getting affirmation and validation from their peers within the group, they feel more part of that tribe. The more part of it they feel, the less likely they are to leave. So micro and macro proof is really cool. So that's a shout out every week. Educate. So there should be one thing that you're educating. And the cool thing about this, and this is an example of what I'm doing. It's I'm recording this. So this will go out into the group, and hopefully it will really help a ton of you. But what I'll also do is I'll take this content and I'll use it elsewhere. So you piggyback on the idea is what I'm saying. So you can kind of create a bit of content and you can use it elsewhere. Really helpful. And it doesn't mean you need to use the whole thing. You can kind of chop it up or use just the idea of it to create new videos for like Reels for Instagram, or you can do a bit of an educational piece for Facebook. Encourage questions. One day there's just a question you ask. Hey, how's everyone's week going? What are you proud of this week? Could be something fun, like what are you up to this weekend? Just basically a very simple blog post. It's where you pose a question. It's like less than 100 characters or something, and you get people to engage. And then something personal. What are you up to? Like, let people know what you're doing. And it's like, okay, what one thing I got up to this weekend, or my plans for this week. Remember that people buy into people they like. And that's one of the reasons why your clients signed up with you in the first place. They signed up because they connected with you as an individual, they trusted you, and they believed that your program and your knowledge and experience combined could move them closer towards their goal, right? They believe that. Just because you sold them once doesn't mean you don't have to sell them again and again to keep them in the program. We have to keep selling. Like, selling is like around us all the time. And part of that is making sure that you are connected to the individual, that you are that you have trust, you have rapport, because that is like a bedrock for everything that follows. That's really, really important. So this is like you can take this planner, like if you grab this workbook, you can use this as a planner, and you can see this is like 4 weeks at a time. And just take this out. And you would kind of think, cool, I'm going to make Monday my update day. That's going to be update. That's going to be shout out. That's going to be educate, and so on. And then this is where you can create a Google sheet if you wanted to, but you're like, the update. What's my update for week 1? I'm going to add, this is maybe a new nutritional resource. So you're making yourself a note. I'm going to write about that. And imagine, like, if you go and create, you fill something in every single box, and you sit down and you map out. You think, okay, what's my resource for each week? Who am I going to shout out? You might need to do that like as you go a little bit week by week. But the educational topics, you might decide I'm going to do like water. Talk about water this week, and then I'm going to talk about protein. All right, and so on. So then I've already got my topics, and it's very different when you like load up your kind of task flow for the week, and you're okay, what am I going to do? I've got to schedule or create my content for the Facebook group. You open up this document and you think, okay, cool, I've got to do about protein. I don't have to think about my topic. I can just dive straight into protein, and it's like a hack for getting more stuff done. Okay. So cool, running a little bit out of time. We're going to skip past Scooby Snacks update. Like this, I said this earlier, like what are the things that happen regularly in your coaching program? So again, updating, I mentioned earlier, could be like programming, all right? Maybe you do some check-ins, maybe you do classes, right? And there could be different things that you update inside the program. This is a nice little framework that you can use for client shoutouts. So you would put in, okay, client's name, where were they? It could be where were they last week? Where were they last month or last year? Remember, micro versus macro. Where are they now? Okay, so what like describe the most recent interaction you've had with them, or the most recent understanding of where they're at in their journey. And so this is literally how you would write it. So you would say, hey, everyone, I just want to shout out to Jane this week. Like, only last week she was like not doing any exercise. She was and she didn't have any structure around her nutrition. But having just had a session with her this morning, she's tracked every day this week. She's been in the gym 3 times. She's feeling amazing, and that's why I wanted to shout out this week. Yeah, so beautiful, like little example of a micro social proof. And macro could be exactly the same, but you just bigger time horizons and bigger accomplishments. You'd say, I'm buzzing for Harry this week. Last year when he joined, he was overweight, really not happy, and needing to make a big change to his energy levels because he was really down. I literally just had a weigh-in with him this morning, and he's lost 4 stone. He's just registered for the marathon, and yeah. You get the idea. So really, really helpful. Again, this is just a nice little formula template to help you construct educational posts. So what's the topic? Nutrition, protein. Why this? Because a lot of people are struggling to hit their protein targets. What are the myths? That people think that cheese has protein, or myths are that you think you're getting enough protein, but you're not, and you're kind of overshooting your calories because you're over-consuming fat. Problems are that you don't get enough protein, you're not recovering fast enough, you're not building muscle at the speed you want to, and therefore your body shape kind of composition goal doesn't happen so fast. Something along those lines. So, cool. Education, we've got educate, encourage questions. So again, we think through what questions might we want to ask. I gave you a couple of examples earlier. We could go through different categories, like personal questions, like asking people opinions on stuff. It could be asking people like for testimonials or their experience, like how did you get on this week? How was your last training session? How's everyone feeling today? And then you can have some fun with it, like, hey, what's your favorite film? What's your favorite pudding? getting people talking, giving people a really easy first step towards communicating is a great way to get those people lurking in the background to actually contribute. And like varying up these questions, playing with them, finding the different angles that you can get people, put them into the group. Then you provide the Scooby snacks, and sometimes these the answers to these questions can be the very thing you need to get those people in and using the group much more often. So, okay, listen. Finally, let's just cover this. Selling it. These are the different places where you can sell your program, right? And you can go through this checklist, make sure that you're ticking off each box. And if you're doing each one of these 6 things, you'll actually be putting in the necessary work to get people using your group. Remember, it's up to you to get this thriving. It won't just happen like spontaneously. You've got to be the one that goes out there and explains how to use it, explains why to use it, and set people up, like tee people up so they can kind of use a golf analogy, tee people up so they can hit an epic drive off the tee, off the fairway, so they can hit a great shot, right? You've got to do a lot of the work to set them up. And I think a big reason to perhaps just cap this up is that basically people don't have the framework, and that's what hopefully I've helped you with today, is to give you some ideas and some structure around how you could both set it up and get it rolling. This was about the client Facebook group. If you want that workbook, if you haven't already, just comment the word workbook below and we will send it across to you. We really, really do hope it helps. My name's David. I run Velocity with my friend Craig, my business partner Craig. We've been best mates for like 18 years now. So we're having a ball running this business together. If you want some help, don't hesitate to reach out. We help trainers get to 5 and 7K months consistently, and we have a great time doing it. So that's all for now. That was a client Facebook group, and I'll see you soon. Bye.